All right, so fletching arrows. We're gonna take our wipes from AAE, clean the shaft off real good. You can use denatured alcohol too. Just make sure it gives you a good bonding surface. Always make sure that your fletching jig knob is turned the same way every time. And then what I like to do is pick a line on this Bitzenberger. You can make a mark with a marker or something. I just take the back of the fletching and put it at the back of the mark of this fletching jig. Kind of gives me a good reference point. Take your primer pen, make sure it's dispensing, a little dab, one quick swipe with it. That's all it takes. Then I'll get my glue and I'll put just a thin, consistent bead, not putting it on heavy, just a consistent thin bead all the way to the end. And then slide it evenly. I like to start from the bottom and kind of ramp. Start from the bottom and ramp my fletching jig up, not really pushing a bunch of down pressure on it. I got these right now set on a 2-degree left offset. I'm not really worried about spine lining my arrows or anything like that. I worry about grains, matching up my grains, getting them within at least 1 to 1/2 a grain of each other. The biggest thing is whenever you're building your arrows, start with a bare shaft, and I like to get a silver Sharpie or a whiteout and put a dot on the back of the shaft, and then go up to right up on the target and shoot, and then see which way that dot moves, and whether the dot rotates left or right to get whichever way it's coming out of the bow, and then I fletch with the natural rotation of the arrow. It's going to make your setup more forgiving, and if you fletch it the opposite way, at some point your arrow is going to shoot, stop midair, knuckleball, and then turn the way that you have it fletched. So it's going to come out with its natural rotation, stop, and then turn the other way that you have it fletched. So if you fletch it the way that it comes out of the bow at first place, then you get a more forgiving setup. And whenever you're fletching, make sure that in between a couple sets of arrows, in between about every 3 arrows, I'll go through and I'll take my clamp, open my clamp up, get a pocket knife, and I'll clean the dried up glue on my pocket off my clamp, because if you don't get that off, then you're going to get wavy arrow fletchings and you're not going to have straight lines. All right, so this glue doesn't take long to set up, about 10 to 20 seconds for each one. It's pretty good. Now what I'll do after I glue these and get these all glued up, once they're done, I'll take my glue and I'll tip and tail them. And what this does, whenever it goes through an animal, or if you get it on a target, whatever, it buries up in there, it creates a little bowl in front of it. That way nothing gets in underneath your fletchings, rip them off.